Hello and welcome all of you, students and interns, to this conversation with me. I'm Charu Malhotra from Primus Partners in this lovely environment of Ruby's Cafe on World Youth Skills Day, which is today. And I'm very excited to understand your thoughts, your aspirations, your wishes. Couple of forces which I find can be very confounding, especially for young people like you who are, studying and preparing to launch yourself. And these are some forces like the creative economy, the digital economy, the gig economy. And a lot of these new practices and trends and knowledge systems that are emerging uh, can be confusing, can be exciting. And I'm sure a lot of you have questions about how to develop your potential in this new emerging world order. So I open this to all of you to, to throw in your thoughts, queries on the table.
Like you talked about the digital economy. So, I just wanted to know what is that one piece of advice that you would like to give to students? Because usually we feel overwhelmed by the rapid changes in technology that is happening. And what, according to you, are the most essential, let's say, digital skills that we should develop as students?
Okay. So I think I can understand that feeling of being overwhelmed. We are all feeling overwhelmed, and where I feel we are all trying to play catch up. None of us are prepared. None of us have come prepared, and not to unnerve you, but I think we are not even getting there. So I know you guys have all passed this, secondary school stage, but let me actually just rewind and it may not concern any of you, but it concerns generations that, or cohorts that will come after you. So I think one very important inclusion that we need to have, and that is including emerging technology curriculum at school level, which I think all of you have passed. I passed it long time back, right? And you guys have also passed it. And while we may talk about AI and ML, and yes, schools are beginning to explore this at probably grade 8 or 9 or, somewhere around that. But I think from grade 6 onwards, maybe even earlier, but at least from grade 6, we shouldn't only know about AI and ML, but even other emerging technologies. For example, IoT, robotics, metaverse. We go and see films around all this, but actually, it's no longer a future skills. It's very much in the present. Whether it is blockchain or Web3 or cybersecurity, AR, VR, this is whole world of emerging technologies which is taking us by storm, and it has taken at least even you guys by surprise. So we need to be prepared. And since you didn't, there are various ways of equipping yourself. Of course, you can learn. We, we are all learning from Chat GPT. We are learning from, we are doing online courses. We are doing Coursera. We are doing, in internships. If you work with, companies like Google, Nvidia, they also conduct training programs around, use cases of AI, etc. So there are various opportunities to do that. But then there are, low code platforms as well. There is Google AI, there is Kaggle, there is ChatGPT, of course.
So, yeah, ma'am, as you mentioned about AI, because AI is usually thought of as replacing jobs, so how can we as students shift this mindset of threat to opportunity when it comes to AI in the workplace?
So my question to you is, do you seriously think AI will replace jobs? What's your top of the mind intuitive answer?
I guess yes, not wholly, but partially yes.
Okay, so what is AI doing? Because in fact, I mean, I'm not an expert on AI, but we talk about use cases of AI, right? And we would know from our readings, from our discussions, from our practices in our various occupations, you as students, me as a consultant. Uh, so AI, of course, would help with a quantitative analysis, with pattern recognition, with predictive analytics, highlighting areas for improvement, etc. Uh, on the other hand, human, human intelligence. Uh, do you think it can completely? Well, some of you may answer yes, but can it completely emulate empathy? uh, Whether it is subjective judgment, ethical reasoning, right? So I would say even we would not, even human minds and humans also probably are, they would be, there would be dangers and risk of bias and because of deep conditioning, but so also AI, right? AI also, because of algorithmic biases, we are talking about bias today, right? So there are some skills, there are some, I would say, AI talent pool, what that is capable of. There is a human talent pool, what humans are capable of. For example, we're talking about multidisciplinary today, and from what I am told, by experts and practitioners, is that largely AI would work around single disciplines. But today we have SI, or super intelligence, which is working around multidisciplinary. It's like saying, you ask your professor a question, you get an answer from one professor. But imagine having a lot of these PhDs in a room, and on various, they talk from various perspectives, a multi-perspectival approach actually, and then they come and give you a solution or an answer or a product, or having thought about various aspects of, let's say, economic, personal well-being, several perspectives around whichever discipline or solution you're talking about. And then we also have, going forward, OI, organoid intelligence, which will actually behave like a human cell. Just as human cells multiply on themselves, OI also can go as many deep, deep into several layers. So AI, SI, OI, they can all actually, do our work for us. But for that we would also need data sets and databases which are going to be more diverse, which are going to be more pluralist, whether it's pluralist cultures or language or dialects or socioeconomic contexts. So even for that to function, first of all, I don't believe that AI can replace jobs. That's my personal view, because you bring your set of experience to the table, right? When you bring your set of experience to the table, you have developed a kind of intuition which is very, very unique and, personalized to you. Now, while even machine learning can be empathetic, sentiment analysis, etc., I'm not discounting that. If we give it everything, if everything being equal, whether it's data sets, whether it is whatever input we are talking about, assuming that it can be empathetic, and in every role you require skills, you require feelings as well, right? Okay. There are various aspects, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's agriculture, whether it's health. So different sets of skills are required. But when it comes to intuition, which is personalized to you, I mean, I think we would all need to ask ourselves that, can a machine replace that?
I'm just pondering over one question, that whether the current education system is providing right set of skills to the students till under that level so that they can be employable in the consulting industry. Right set of digital skills this way.
So, as we just discussed, that I feel no. The short answer to your question is, as of now, no, and probably not in the near future also, because those cohorts who are studying, let's say in middle school or secondary, they've already passed the opportunity if these skills are not there in the curriculum, and I don't think as mainstream practice it's there, because your assessments, it at least not as a discrete subject, not as a scored subject, at least all the emerging technologies. And today we would require students to at least have an appreciation of, at least 12 of these emerging technologies in addition to AI and ML, as we just discussed. So I don't think so.
So, ma'am, now that we're talking about upskilling, we're talking about the education system, and we as students, we are currently looking like, I think most of us are on the verge of entering the workforce in let's say 2 3 years. So, since you have been in consultancy for so long, I would like to ask you, what are the current use cases of AI that you see in your everyday work, like things that you did not do with ChatGPT's help, let's say maybe 5 years back, but now
everybody is switching to ChatGPT or any other AI tool for, let's say, PPTs. We all know MBA students, they have to grind a lot of PPTs. So how do you think is the new norm changing, and how you as a consultant are, updating yourself, or how a consulting firm is looking at for fresh hires, or what skills are they looking for in a fresh consulting hire?
No, I think that's a very, very pertinent question, especially in the kind of work we do. So first of all, I think in terms of you even touched upon skilling. So our skill development programs actually really need to bring this on as a life skill. One is of course domain specific skills, because when we get into disciplines, as you just asked about use cases, but most skill programs are focusing on entry level skills. I think this is one we should actually regard it as an entry level skill, and we should bring this in our skilling program. Now, coming to what are the use cases, first of all data sets are also informing themselves, and all these AI tools will also learn as they go. So, of course, whether it's in the health medical sector, whether it's in agri sector, education, finance, revenue, cyber security, so the kind of use cases I think which will be more widespread, uh, revenue forecasting, fraud detection, from a tax perspective, segmenting taxpayers for compliance management, right? Uh, from health systems, I would think even patient workflows management, making them as personalized and as error free and predictive, future facing as well. From cybersecurity, I mean, news has been full of, uh, real time threat detection. Education, I think that in fact, it's a very long lasting and, use case and applicable from day one of when students enter the education life cycle, is predictive analytics for personalized learning, right? But again, we have to be really watchful for these filter bubbles or an echo chamber of sorts that databases can create, right? Because they will feed you more of what you know. Whereas we need to, as students, also, you need to be informed of more in terms of widening your perspective, right? And counterintuitive information, right? And being able to adapt and critically analyze the information that's thrown at you. So I think even personalized learning or adaptive systems need better, databases, and the library of inventory needs to be broadened for a more multidisciplinary, outcome. Let's say a firm like ours, Primus, that is aiming to be inclusive, and we've also signed up for the UN Women Program, where 50%, and as we speak, more than 50% women employees are women. We want to maintain a kind of inclusive, diverse, employee process. Sorry. Yes, and there I think AI, can, in terms of quickly, screening through resumes and, identifying the right fit. Again, we may be in danger of again marginalizing certain underrepresented segments, and that is again going to be a danger we will face in any kind of data set that we use for any of our predictions or analysis.
As we were talking about skills, we know that AI can almost do a lot of things. It can make PPTs, do qualitative and quantitative research for you. Even in the medical healthcare, it is being used. So, what skills do you kind of recommend students to learn so that they can get an edge in their career for the next 5 to 10 years?
So I think first of all, learn to be very curious and inquisitive. Develop your own human skills. That whole curiosity and inquisitiveness. Also, when you are, even looking at low coding platforms or even ChatGPT, try and see how is that generative, tool or platform throwing at you what the information that you have asked or a solution. Think about what sort of connections it would have made, multidisciplinary connections it would have made, the kind of data sets it would have mined to come up with. Try and ape that, uh, okay? And don't always trust it also, because have your own ethical reasoning, right? We see several instances of when people have used ChatGPT, or any digital tool to create work that in snap of a finger, than you would take probably 48 hours to do or more, correct? But is it fit for your purpose, right? Is it very contrary to your own personality and own value systems? Okay, in which case, will it help you expand your understanding, your own database? Correct, it can, it may, but produce work definitely when using such tools for research, expand your information base, but try and validate it from your own independent research as well. There could be a fake information coming out at you, right? It could actually land you in trouble if you're using it for your studies, exams, any assignment, right? Or even producing any work. So do try and validate, triangulate it as best as you can, discuss with people, and try and, I think, you know, old research methods have changed when we used to go to libraries. Today, information is all, it's an age of screenagers where you want quick gratification. And social media is also creating your, responses, creating your biases, your impressions. And what would the kind of impressions you would have taken 5 years, 10 years, a whole lifetime earlier to put together, that's happening at a much faster pace, right? So it's in the rush and the pace to get ahead. Please do use these tools, to make your work good, smart, impressive. But try and build your own faculties to think, analyze, create, okay? Also, complex problem solving. Use these tools for complex problem solving. And then also independently, critically analyze the kind of aids it may have used to help you do that. Can you actually emulate it yourself? Can you attempt complex problem solving yourself? While it may be dipping into multiple data sets to collaborate information, so to say, can you collaborate with on a one-on-one, let's say in an interaction like this, right? uh, you know in education today, we have in classrooms, people are using virtual labs, simulation, very good. You can actually experience what is velocity, you can experience the environment of interstellar systems in your classroom today. But can you actually, it's like saying I conduct a chemistry experiment and I can actually observe the vapors, feel, smell the fumes. It takes me 15 minutes, for the reaction to kick in. I have to wait, I have to make my observations in a lab, and all of it is happening at the snap of fingers. Would you even realize what is the time or the real life experience of doing some experiments? So where possible, try and do work with your hands, okay? Augment it virtually for, for verification, for knowing are you on the right track, and for quick results. But never compromise authenticity, never compromise originality, you know, just because you want to be quick and efficient. I think it would defeat the purpose.
Maybe your job will actually become redundant in near future because of AI. But do you think there would be an effect on workforce? And how do we actually combat that? Being from non-technical backgrounds, like are we a step backward from the people who are from technical background?
Okay, so let me ask you, we all use smartphones. Yes. Do you know how that smartphone was made? But you're a user, you're a consumer, right? So there's always place for, to be informed as a consumer. Obviously, there is a place for a creator, right? So it is a creator economy. You can use tools. So today there are so many YouTubers, right? They're creating content. Have they actually gone to a filmmaking school today? Right? There are, you know, People are pushing out their content from rural areas of India, coastal areas of India, wherever, sitting on a mountain, may not necessarily have learned the art of even creating content, but they're doing so. So you can actually, and if you look at it, apply the same rationale and to your to a career choice of career. So even for operations, for management, for prediction, for projection, and creation as well, you can use any of these tools to inform yourself as a non-technical part of workforce. I mean, we are all there, right? Many of us have not been tutored in computer systems or digital systems, but as users, try and see. And there are several courses being run by for non-technical cohorts as well. Yeah.
Ma'am, how do you think firms like Primus can really contribute and maybe proactively work with and collab with universities to make students industry ready while with the emergence of AI and the usage of AI in work?
So actually, I think collaboration is the key today, and Primus, we are collaborating with universities, whether it's for road safety transport management systems, how can these be made better? We are collaborating with certain companies who are working in AI for use cases of AI. There are several even in companies that we work with for preparing, designing skill programs, whether it's for even for those who are technical students and for non-technical workforce as well. So completely collaboration is the key. In fact, we collaborate all around with individuals, with institutions, to be more informed and prepared for the digital creative economy world of AI.
AI is the future, or we fear the AI, or the person who using AI? What do you think?
I think there will always be a fear of the unknown. So we need to make friends, you know. Uh, it's like avatars. You know. You have an AI avatar. How comfortable would you be with that avatar? So I think any area which is today an unknown entity, right? You walk into your classroom, you don't know your professor, your faculty. You don't know who that and what that that person will turn out to be. I think AI is that. It's another world. It's another person. It's another area of the unknown with depths. So swim, explore, plumb as much as you can, but why fear? As somebody who's preparing to be a lawyer, and this is what we, are debating continuously when it comes to introducing AI and other technologies at a school level, is the current debate about the ethics of AI,
Yes.
right? So, from a lawyer's perspective, what would you suggest?
So, what I have observed is that if I put a research prompt on ChatGPT, it will give me a very basic answer, or it will give me the answer that I want. It will not compel me to research more on that topic, because that is exactly what I'm looking for. So, what I believe is that it will slow down my thinking process, and I think it would be very apt to mention that I'm big on criticizing AI. I don't really trust it, and I also believe that students, middle school students, they should be taught more on the cons of AI rather than the pros of AI, because we should know how to handle it.
Correct. So maybe both the pros and the cons of AI
Yes.
when actually introducing it to students.
Yes.
I think that's very valid. So thank you. It was wonderful chatting with you. And at any time, I think do write, blog, create your own, content, and experience the thrill. Use these tools if they are all there. Experience the thrill of creating.